Tonight's mystery begins with something almost all of us do: tracking our sleep. But for one man, a simple sleep app captured something impossible and terrifying. Stay with me, because the deeper we go, the stranger this gets. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment your thoughts. This one is disturbing. He downloaded a sleep app on his phone, just to monitor his breathing and movements at night. Nothing unusual. The first few nights, everything looked normal. The app showed the typical patterns: deep sleep, light sleep, maybe a few moments of restlessness. It was all pretty standard, the kind of data you look at once and then forget. He was mainly interested in seeing if he snored or talked in his sleep. A harmless curiosity. He'd check the logs in the morning, see the neat little graphs, and go about his day. It was routine. But on the fourth night, the app recorded something he couldn't explain. Something that didn't fit into any of the neat little categories. It was a digital ghost, a phantom in the machine, and it was about to unravel his sense of reality, one recording at a time. The mundane had just become monstrous. The app logged a sound, labeled unknown voice, 3:17 a.m. At first, he thought it was a glitch, an audio artifact from the air conditioner kicking on, or maybe a car passing outside. He almost dismissed it. After all, what else could it be? He lived alone. The house was always silent after midnight, but curiosity got the better of him. His finger hovered over the play button, a strange sense of hesitation washing over him. It was just an audio file, a meaningless blip in the data. With a shrug, he pressed play. It wasn't him. And it wasn't any sound he recognized. It was a faint, dry whisper, like leaves skittering across pavement. The words were unintelligible, but the tone was unmistakable. It was cold. It was close. The sound ended as abruptly as it began, leaving him in a silent room that suddenly felt much, much bigger, and not entirely empty. Every night after that, the recordings got louder, clearer. The voice was low, whispering almost as if it was speaking directly to him. Words started to form from the static. "Are you awake?" one recording seemed to ask. Another, from the next night, felt even more direct. "He's listening." He'd play them back in the bright morning light, the sound feeling absurd and out of place. Yet the memory of the chilling whisper from the darkness lingered. He checked his windows, his doors, all locked. No pets, no visitors. He even tried sleeping in a different room, but the recordings followed, a persistent, disembodied presence captured by his phone. It was like a parasite that had attached itself to his nights, feeding on his peace and quiet. If this happened to you, would you delete the app or keep listening? Tell me in the comments. On the seventh night, things escalated. He woke up with an unusual feeling of dread, a heaviness in the air. He reached for his phone, his hand trembling slightly. A new notification was on the screen. The app had detected two distinct voices now, two waveforms, side by side on the timeline. One whisper said, "He can hear us." The reply came from a second, deeper whisper, "Not for long." He listened over and over, his blood running cold. He turned the volume up, then down, pressing the phone to his ear, trying to convince himself it was just a dream he'd had, a night terror his phone had accidentally recorded. But the clarity was undeniable. The two voices were interacting, conspiring. They were aware of him. He felt a profound sense of violation, as if his most private space, his own bedroom, had been invaded by something he couldn't see, couldn't fight, but could definitely hear. And then, the recording that changed everything. The one that shattered any remaining sliver of doubt. A new file appeared on the app, time-stamped at precisely 3:33 a.m. He knew, even before he pressed play, that this one would be different. The air in his room felt electric, charged with a terrible anticipation. He took a deep breath and listened. There was a long silence, longer than usual. Then, the whisper. It wasn't asking a question. It wasn't talking to another voice. It was just one word, his name, not shouted, not spoken, whispered, as if someone were standing right beside his bed, their lips just inches from his ear. The sound was so intimate, so impossibly close, that he physically recoiled, dropping his phone on the bed. The world seemed to tilt, the rational explanations evaporating into sheer terror. Something was in the room with him when he slept, and it knew his name. The last recording was different. The next morning he opened the app to a stark notification. Critical audio event detected. There was no title, no label, just a single, ominous file. When he pressed play, there was no voice, no whisper, just breathing, heavy, slow, inhumanly steady. It wasn't his breathing, the rhythm was all wrong. It was a deep, raspy sound that seemed to fill the recording, as if the microphone was right next to the source. And then, a new sound, footsteps. Soft, deliberate footsteps approaching the phone, then stopping right next to it. A few seconds of that heavy breathing, and then, silence. The recording ended. He stared at his phone, the silence from the speaker echoing the silence in his now freezing apartment. Whatever it wasn't just whispering anymore. It was moving. And that was the night he deleted the app. He packed a bag, left his apartment, and moved out. He couldn't stay another night. But the phone kept creating new recordings, even after he turned it off. Empty audio files, appearing in a phantom folder he couldn't delete. He eventually got rid of the phone, but the feeling of being listened to never truly went away. The final recording from the app was never played. A notification simply appeared on the locked screen. A ghost of the app he'd deleted. New recording available. Tap to play. He never did. If you want part 2, or if you've ever had something strange happen while you slept, comment below, subscribe, and check the link in the comments. Stay curious, and stay in the shadows.